Let's be honest, all is one of those things that never really loses its charm. Men love it, women know the effect it has. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think it's about just doing it. The truth is, what separates a forgettable experience from the kind that leaves him lying in bed thinking about you over and over again is not the act itself, it's how you do it, the creativity you bring, and especially the positions you choose. Because here's the reality, our brains get used to repetition. Even the most delicious food, if eaten the same way every day, starts to lose its flavor. Pleasure works the same way. When it becomes predictable, it loses its spark. But when you change the angle, the view, the way his body experiences it, you ignite his brain in an entirely new way. Suddenly, it doesn't feel like the same old routine. It feels like a brand new adventure. And that's where you become unforgettable. It's not just that you know what to do. It's that you know how to keep it exciting, how to surprise him, how to make the same act feel like the first time again. That's what makes a man crave you. That's what makes him not just enjoy the moment, but replay it in his head for days, weeks, even years after. So today, I'm going to give you 5 oral positions that don't just give him pleasure, they blow his mind. They're not complicated, they don't require you to be a gymnast, but what they do is change the entire experience for him, physically, emotionally, and psychologically. And if you master these, you won't just be another memory in his life, you'll be the memory. Ready? Let's dive into the first position. The first position I want to talk about is what I like to call the seated throne. Imagine him sitting back in a chair or at the edge of the bed, completely relaxed while you position yourself in front of him. On the surface, this looks simple. He sits, you take the lead, but the psychology of this position is what makes it unforgettable. When a man is seated in this way, he feels 2 emotions at once, and that's what makes it so powerful. On one hand, he feels like a king receiving, indulging, being taken care of. But on the other hand, he feels vulnerable because he's completely at your mercy. That duality of power and surrender is one of the biggest turn-ons for men, whether they admit it out loud or not. Here's the deeper layer. Men are extremely visual, and this position puts him in the perfect spot to just watch you. And trust me, he will. He won't just be feeling it, he'll be seeing it too. The image of you in that position gets burned into his memory. Long after the moment is over, he'll recall the way you looked, the confidence you carried, the expression on your face. It becomes more than physical. It becomes a visual fantasy he replays again and again. That's why so many men describe moments like this as unforgettable, not because of technique alone, but because of the feeling they had while watching the person they desire most completely immersed in pleasing them. And here's the part that really gets him eye contact. In the seated throne, he has a clear line of sight to you. Every so often, when you look up and lock eyes with him, it sends an electric current through his body. Split second tells him more than words ever could. It says, I want you, I'm choosing you, I'm enjoying this as much as you are. That moment of intimacy, even amidst the physical pleasure, is what takes it from just being an act to being an emotional experience. Men don't often get moments where they feel truly desired beyond their surface. When you give him that eye contact from this position, he feels chosen, and that makes him addicted to you. Another reason this position is so mind-blowing is because of how much control it gives you. You're the one deciding the pace, the rhythm, the intensity. He's in a position where he can't do anything but let go and receive. That act of surrender is rare for many men because in their daily lives, they're used to being in control, making decisions, carrying responsibilities. But in this position, he has to hand over that control to you. And for him, that feels liberating. It creates a sense of trust. He realizes he doesn't have to think. He doesn't have to guide. He doesn't have to perform. He just has to be present with you. That relief, that escape from pressure is part of why he loves it so much. And let's not underestimate the confidence factor here. When a woman takes this position and owns it, it radiates a kind of self-assurance that is irresistible. Men don't just crave the physical act, they crave the feeling of being wanted by someone who knows her own power and isn't afraid to use it. When you kneel before him, not because you have to, but because you choose to, it becomes an expression of desire. That choice is what makes it unforgettable. The beauty of the seated throne is that it's deceptively simple, yet layered with psychological impact. It appeals to his visual mind. It teases his sense of power and vulnerability. It creates moments of intimacy through eye contact, and it allows him to surrender while you take the lead. All of those things combined make it one of the most powerful and memorable positions you can use. And when you do it with presence, with playfulness, and with intention, it will be something he never forgets, no matter how much time passes. The second position I want to talk about is what I call the laid back king. This one might look simple at first glance. He's lying flat on his back, completely stretched out, while you position yourself between his legs. It's one of the most classic setups, and because of that, a lot of people underestimate it. But the truth is, this position taps into something primal and emotional at the same time. It allows a man to feel a kind of relaxation and surrender that he doesn't get in many other areas of his life, and that's exactly why it blows his mind. Think about how most men live their lives. They're expected to be in control, to take charge, to solve problems, to constantly be on. Even in the bedroom, a lot of men feel pressure to perform, to last, to impress. The laid back king removes all of that. In this position, he doesn't have to think. He doesn't have to plan. He doesn't have to guide you. He just gets to let go. And that sense of surrender is intoxicating. When a man feels safe enough with you to relax completely, that's when he feels not only turned on, but deeply connected. Another reason this position is so powerful is because of what happens to his body when he's fully stretched out, when his muscles aren't tense, when his arms are flopped to the side, when his breathing slows down, his sensitivity actually increases. Every nerve feels more alive. He's not holding anything back, which means he feels everything more intensely. That's why, even though this might seem like the most basic of all positions, it can also be the one that gives him the most overwhelming rush of pleasure. But here's where you can make it unforgettable. You play with tempo and unpredictability. In this position, because he's lying back and giving up control, his mind is wide open to the element of surprise. A slow, teasing build keeps his anticipation alive. A sudden change of rhythm jolts his senses awake. A pause, just when he thinks he's about to reach his peak, makes him lose his mind because it heightens his craving. The laid-back king isn't just about what you do physically. It's about how you control the flow of sensation, how you play with his mind as much as his body. And then there's the intimacy factor. When he's lying back like this, you're in a position where he can see you clearly. Unlike some other angles, here he gets a full view of you, your body, your confidence, your focus. If you glance up, he has the chance to lock eyes with you. That eye contact in this moment is like fire. It's a reminder that you're not just performing an act, you're sharing an experience. That combination of his relaxed state and your intimate gaze creates a memory that goes way beyond the physical. Here's something else to consider. Men secretly crave moments where they don't have to be the strong one. When you take control and he gets to lie there completely vulnerable and open, it hits him on an emotional level. It tells him that he can trust you, that you're not just with him for the pleasure you get, but that you genuinely enjoy giving to him. That realization is powerful. It makes him feel cherished, valued, and deeply desired. And for a man, that feeling is just as addictive as the physical sensation itself. The beauty of the laid-back king is that it strips everything down to something pure. There are no theatrics, no distractions, no need to complicate it. It's just him lying back, surrendering himself to you, while you take him on a journey he'll never forget. Done with presence and playfulness, it becomes more than just a moment of pleasure. It becomes an anchor memory, one he'll replay in his head for years to come. The third position I want to share with you is what I like to call the side angle surprise. Now, most people never even think of this one because they get so used to being directly in front. But a simple shift to the side, whether you're kneeling at an angle, lying across him diagonally, or positioning yourself off center, can completely transform the experience. It might not sound like much, but in intimacy, even the smallest changes can feel brand new, and that's exactly why this position blows his mind. Here's what makes it so powerful. Men's bodies, like our brains, crave variety. When you change the angle, the sensation changes. His body isn't used to it, so it instantly wakes up parts of his mind that have gone a little numb to repetition. It's the same reason why you can listen to a favorite song 100 times, but if you hear a remix or a live version, suddenly it feels fresh again. The side angle surprise is the remix. It's familiar, but different enough to feel exciting. From his perspective, there's also something incredibly playful about this. It doesn't feel routine. It feels like you're experimenting, exploring him, discovering new ways to drive him crazy. That playfulness is intoxicating for men because it tells them you're not just there to get it over with. You're enjoying yourself, you're invested in his pleasure, and you're curious. That curiosity is what makes a man think, she's not like anyone else. She actually wants to explore me. And that for him is unbelievably attractive. There's also a powerful psychological effect here. When you take the side angle, he can see you in a different way. He's not looking straight down anymore. He gets a different visual, a different perspective of you, your body, and your confidence. And remember, men are visual creatures. Even a small change in what he sees can etch an entirely new memory in his mind. It keeps him guessing, keeps him fascinated, keeps him hooked on the unpredictability you bring. Another thing that happens in this position is that his sense of control gets rattled a little in a good way, because it's not the standard setup. He can't anticipate exactly what you're going to do. That element of unpredictability makes him more sensitive and heightens the intensity of every single touch. He's no longer in his head trying to predict the outcome. Instead, he's completely in the moment with you, hanging on to every move you make. And let's not overlook the intimacy factor. The side angle often puts you closer to his torso, his chest, even his face, depending on how you angle yourself. That closeness makes it easier for you to tease him in other ways, running your hands across his body, tracing his skin with your lips, giving him a little extra attention in places he doesn't expect. It's like you're reminding him that pleasure isn't just physical, it's also emotional and sensory. The more of his body you engage, the more deeply he'll feel connected to you. The beauty of the side angle surprise is that it doesn't take anything complicated. It's literally a shift in position, but the impact it has on him is massive. It tells him you're adventurous. It makes him feel like he's experiencing something completely fresh. It breaks the monotony and keeps the fire alive. And most importantly, it gives him the sense that you're not just there to please him mechanically. You're there to play, to explore, and to share a moment that feels alive. In the end, this position is about more than just a different angle. It's about showing him that you're creative, that you think outside the box, and that you're willing to surprise him. That element of surprise is what makes him addicted, not just to the physical pleasure you give him, but to you. Because once a man realizes that being with you means never knowing what exciting new twist is coming next, he'll never be able to get you out of his mind. The fourth position I want to share with you is what I call the standing edge. Now, this is where things get a little more raw, a little more primal, and a lot more unforgettable. In this setup, he's standing, maybe against a wall, maybe at the edge of the bed, maybe even just in the middle of the room, and you're in control from a lower angle. At first, it seems like this puts him in the position of power, but here's the beautiful irony. While he feels strong and grounded, the truth is that you are the one holding all the power in this moment. The psychology of this position is fascinating. When a man is standing, he feels physically dominant. It taps into that instinctive masculine energy that makes him feel tall, strong, and powerful. But at the exact same time, he's incredibly vulnerable, because when you're the one kneeling before him, his entire body is exposed to you. He can't hide. He can't shield himself. He is completely open. That mix of power and vulnerability happening at once is an intoxicating cocktail for men, and it's part of what makes this position blow his mind. What also makes the standing edge so unforgettable is the rush of adrenaline it creates. There's something raw about being upright like this. It doesn't feel as soft or relaxed as when he's lying down. It feels urgent, exciting, even a little risky. That element of danger, of being just a little more exposed than usual, amplifies the intensity of what he's experiencing. Men thrive on that kind of rush. It makes the entire moment feel less like routine and more like an adventure he's lucky to be having with you. From your perspective, this position gives you an incredible opportunity to tease him, because when he's standing, his balance and focus depend on you. If you choose to go slow, to pull back, to make him wait, the tension inside him will skyrocket. Every pause becomes magnified. Every moment of anticipation makes him crave you more. And when you finally give in and let him feel everything, the release hits him like a tidal wave. It's not just the physical pleasure, it's the mental buildup that makes it unforgettable. And let's not underestimate the visual aspect here. Men are highly visual, and in the standing edge, the way he sees you from above becomes an imprint he'll never shake. The image of you in that moment, confident, playful, in control, burns itself into his mind. Long after the act is over, that image will return to him when he least expects it. And every time it does, it will trigger the same rush of desire he felt in that moment. It's not just pleasure, it's memory, and memory is what keeps him hooked on you. Another layer that makes this position so powerful is the intimacy that can come with it. Standing doesn't always have to be rough or wild. it can also be deeply connective. If you place your hands on his thighs, his hips, or even around his waist while you're doing it, he feels your touch grounding him. If you occasionally look up and catch his eyes, the intensity of that gaze in this position can send shivers down his spine. That combination of raw physicality and deep emotional intimacy is rare, and that's why he never forgets it. The standing edge is about more than just trying something different. It's about creating a unique emotional cocktail of strength, vulnerability, adrenaline, and connection. It makes him feel alive in ways that routine never could. It makes him feel like he's experiencing something with you that's both primal and intimate, both exciting and deeply bonding. And once he's felt that with you, he'll never look at anyone else the same way. The final position I want to talk about is one of the most famous, and yet, when done with the right mindset, one of the most powerful. The 69 connection. Most people hear that term and instantly think of it as something purely physical, almost like a novelty or a fun trick to try. But the truth is, when you approach it with presence and intention, this position becomes so much more than a sexual act. It becomes an expression of equality, of mutual desire, and of shared vulnerability. And that's exactly why it blows his mind. Think about what makes intimacy special. It's not just one person giving and one person receiving. It's the dance of both. And in this position, that's exactly what happens. He's not just lost in his own pleasure, he's giving pleasure at the same time. That dual focus forces him into the present moment with you in a way very few other positions can. He can't drift off in his head. He can't think about work tomorrow. He can't zone out because he's both experiencing and creating pleasure at once. That intensity is what makes this position unforgettable. Psychologically, the 69 also communicates something powerful. It tells him you're not afraid of balance in the bedroom. You're not afraid of saying, we're in this together. I'm here for your pleasure, but you're here for mine too. That dynamic creates a sense of partnership that makes the intimacy deeper than just physical. Men don't always get that message. Many men are used to thinking of intimacy as something they're supposed to give or something they're lucky to receive. But when you put him in a position where you're both giving and receiving, he feels a sense of equality that binds him closer to you. Another reason the 69 connection is so impactful is the vulnerability it creates. Both of you are exposed, both of you are focused, both of you are in positions that require trust. For a man, realizing that you trust him enough to give while he's giving to you is a profound experience. It's not just arousing, it's bonding. He feels like you've let him into a part of yourself that not everyone gets to see, and that makes him value the experience all the more. And let's not forget the playfulness. The 69 has an energy that's adventurous by nature. It's not stiff, it's not predictable, it's fun. It breaks the seriousness that can sometimes weigh intimacy down and replaces it with a kind of joyful curiosity. That playfulness makes the experience feel lighter, but at the same time, it anchors it in his memory as something unique you shared together. So when you think about the 69, don't just think of it as a position. Think of it as a statement, we're in this equally. I want to give to you, but I also want to feel you giving to me. That balance, that equality, that shared vulnerability, it's what makes the moment unforgettable. And when a man feels that with you, he won't just remember it as something sexy. He'll remember it as something deeply connecting, a moment that left him not just satisfied, but completely captivated by you. So here's the truth. Oral isn't just about what you do. It's about how you do it and the positions you choose that turn an ordinary moment into something extraordinary. The seated throne, the laid-back king, the side-angle surprise, the standing edge, and the 69 connection. Each one isn't just a new angle, it's a new way of making him feel. They change his experience physically, yes, but more importantly, they change what's happening in his mind and his heart. They make him feel desired, vulnerable, chosen, connected. And those are the feelings that stay with a man long after the act is over. What you've probably realized is that the real power here isn't in technique. It's in your confidence. It's in your willingness to play, to experiment, to surprise him, and to enjoy yourself in the process. When you do that, you don't just give him pleasure, you give him memories, you give him emotions, and you give him reasons to crave you over and over again. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's not about being perfect. It's about being present. Because when you're present with him, when you bring your energy, your playfulness, and your desire into the moment, that's what makes you unforgettable. If you found this video helpful,